Hello, so welcome back to the video. So in the previous video we were stopping at the icon. So we were trying to show the icon when the root was trash. So I'll go ahead and do that. So here, for that we need to make a computed property. So let's import computed from view computed from view, and then we need to also import a use router to access the current route, I think. So let's import use router also from use router. And then we can plug that to a variable. Let's go ahead and plug that to the variable, maybe router equal to use router, and then we can use this use router to compute the current route. For that I'll use a computed property, so we can assign that to a variable called current route and computed. So let's see. It's router dot current route dot value dot name. So that is how. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's not running. And then we have the current route here. So let's check if that is equal to trash. Then we can show the trash icon. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can check here. If current route equal to trash. Sorry. Okay, so let's check if that works. Yeah, so we cannot see the trash icon when we are in home and not in favorites, and when we are in trash it shows. So that's done. Now we can work on the upload functionality. So let's go ahead and do that. So let me jump quickly. Okay, so we need to figure out a way to upload a file to the server. So before that, this is, I think, the correct time to start working on the backend also. So let's go ahead and make a backend. So for that I'll make a server.js file. So let me open that, and I will also rename my tab in the Linux to server so that I have much better understanding what is going on, and I'll rename this to frontend also. So this way I can switch between backend and frontend and have a nice understanding what is happening. So for the server we are using Nodejs and Express. So let's go ahead and start working on that. So we need Express so let's do Express equal to require, and I am not using TypeScript here because I don't want to make it a backend tutorial. It's more like a front-end tutorial, so it's complaining about the the TypeScript, the newer form of mode, but I don't care because it's just a backend. So here I want express, and then I will also need path, because I'm using path to get the files and then save it to a particular folder. So I would need path also, and then I would also need course, because we when we are using a different port on the server and the front end, it usually throws in a course error. So in order to stop that, we would also need course. Course is like cross origin request forgery issue. So it's like it's a security feature to prevent websites from a different domain to send requests to another domain. So what happens is that the browser or the browser checks if the request is coming from the same backend. So that is what course do. So but I'm not going to dive deep into that, but we need to have like course headers here, so that's why we need that. Also we need body parser to parse the input, like JSON input and the form input that we provide from the front end. So that we need body parser also. It's body parser. Excuse me. So then we need multer. So multer is to access the file system and use a folder for storing the uploads. So you can do that with Express, but multer is much easier, so that's why I'm using multer. So then let's start working on the storage thing. So let storage. So I am going to define a storage for multer. So then I'm using the disk storage module of multer to define a storage, and it has a destination, and it requires a function. So I'll provide a request and a file and a callback. So we need only the callback. That is why I'm giving underscore to the other variable, so that the ID won't complain. So callback. Here I will provide the folder for the videos to sit on. So this is the folder in which I'm going to store the videos, and then I'll also need to override the way in which the file name is set using multer. So what happens is that multer will generate a random file name, and it would be like a UUID, and it will assign that to the file if you are uploading that. So I don't want that. I want the name to be there, the file name to be there. So that is why I'm overriding the file name functionality. So it's also a callback. So I just need the callback here, and then I will also provide file.original name. So that is the file name that we are which is there when we are uploading the file. So this is the configuration for the multer. Now we can define a variable which initializes multer with the given options. So that is multer and sorry, and storage to storage. So we have plugged that storage to multer. So now Malta knows where to upload the files, and then we also need something other than that. So yeah, so we need another package also, so that is you know, get video duration. So that is a package which I use for, you know, getting the finding out the video duration of each file. So it's a node mode, it's a package. So I'll just go ahead and plug that also. So that would be get. It has a function called get video duration in seconds. So I'm going to use that actually. So let me use that. Get video duration in seconds. So that's the function from that particular package, that is require and get hyphen video duration. Also we need the file system module, so I'll also plug that. Require fs and then I will also make a database file also, because you know we need a database to store everything. So I'm using a package called vue3. So it uses SQLite as the database. So and I would like to make another file to store the database things only. So let's go ahead and make another file, database.js, and here here's what we are going to define the database. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm trying to, you know, go through this as fast as I can, because you know this is out of scope. SQLite 3 equal to require better SQLite 3, and then const db source. Let's name the db here, so make it db SQLite, and then we can create a table here. So let's do a try catch. Before that, let's define db equal to new SQLite 3 and pass the db source there. So we can create a like a cursor, and then we can define the table here. So db dot prepare, and here so I'll just use backticks to pass that, and you know, I will copy paste that because you know I don't want to type in everything, so it's anyway out of the scope of this tutorial. So just go ahead and copy everything. So it's an SQL statement. So this is the let me move to the other side. So this is the table structure, and we can run that, and if something happens we can catch that error, and then console.log what happened, something like error occurred. So this is the video file table. So I am making a table called video file with an ID, and I have a text field named file name, and I'm making sure that that's unique because I don't want duplicate file names there. So, and I have a duration field here and two boolean fields, two integer fields, isFav and isDelete, to signify that this is a favorite or it's scheduled for a deletion. So this is what I'm going to do at the start, and then let me make another function to add that to the database, add a new video to the database. So let me make a function called add to db, and it will take two parameters, file name and duration, because that's the two things that we need as a mandatory field. The other two can be set as needed, because yeah, you can see that. So it will let me make a variable here, statement equal to db.prepare, and here also I am going to copy paste something. So I have already prepared these SQL statements, but I don't want to go ahead and describe it. So it's just inserting these values into the video file, and here info equal to statement dot run, and we would pass the values that we get here, file name, duration, and we can set the default values to 0 for isFav and isDelete. I'm not using boolean here because it's harder to we have to convert that to boolean every time. If you pass that as true or false, then it will take it as a string, and it will cause all sort of problems sometimes. So in order to avoid that, I'll just use that as integer. So let info, and then I will just return info dot changes, or maybe since we are not changing anything here, we can use const. Okay, so we have a function called add to db, and then so this will add that to the database, add a file to database, and we can export this function from this file because we are using this as a module, node module. You now know how to use node different files as node modules, and then I will export this function add to db, and also I will export the db also. So that's, I think, that what we have in the database section. Now let's go back to the server. So here let me check again. Yeah, we have the get video duration, the file system, storage, and uploads. Okay, so now what we need is that we have to mention the database. So let's db equal to require, and we can pass the database file here, database.js. So then we can define the app here. So let's go ahead and do that. App equal to express, and let's define the port for that. Now we can add a new API for uploading the files. So before that, we have to plug the other things to the app. So I'm going to plug the course module here. So then I will use the body parser.json, and then I will also use body parser.url encoded, because that is needed to parse the files that we send through the form data, which we will do from the front end. So body parser URL encoded, that's done, and then we can make a URL, make a API. So app.post, and I would name it as upload video, and here I will use the uploads variable that we defined earlier, and I will only upload a single file, so I will use uploads.single, and here I will specify video file. This is the name of the variable that we send from the front end. So then I will have a function which have request response, and then I will need so now we need another thing also to generate the thumbnails. So for that I'll be using bash script. So I have a bash script already, so I will copy it over here, but I won't be explaining that because it's completely out of the scope of this tutorial. But I would mention that it is using what you can call ffmpg, that is a command line utility which is used to process the videos. So we are using ffmpg to take a frame from the video and make it as a thumbnail. So I would just copy that over. I think let me copy that, and then okay, so here is the file. Let me show you that, just a minute. So this is the file, generate thumbnail.sh, and it has two inputs, a file name, file input, and a destination where to save the file, the input file and the output destination. So here I'm taking that file name, which would be in the format of file name.mp4, and I'm trying to cut out the front part before the file name. So the way we are doing this is we are passing the full path of the file, so I need to cut out the path and take only the file name, and then after that I will cut out the mp4 section and append jpg to that, and then I'll check here if the image already exists. Then I'll just not try to generate the file, If not, I'll use this command, ffmpg threads, and it has this scale and filter. So I'm cropping it into the size of 480 by 360. So yeah, that's what is happening here. And then I'm saving that. I'm taking the third frame. So this is like we can mention which frame we are taking for the thumbnail. So I'm just taking the frame from the 3rd second. So if you are sure that you are uploading videos which have more time, like an hour long or something, then you can arbitrarily take some middle values, or some frames which you are sure that it will contain some images. So I'm using some of the smaller files for this tutorial, so that's why I set it to 3. So that's there. So this is the file. And I'll provide a GitHub link to all these code, so don't worry about that. So, and then I'll use execc sync, so that is also needed. So I didn't actually added that here. So it is used to run commands from Nodejs. So it's execc sync from child process, and I'll use this function to run this command. So here okay, so before that I will also need to define another function. So that would be get video duration. I'll make a function called get video duration, and then I'll plug the get video duration in seconds to here. So I'll provide a callback, and then get video duration in seconds, that's the function. And here plus file dot, then this is an asynchronous function, so it will run asynchronously and calculate the video duration. So after that we have to add that file to the database. So that is why I'll use db.add to db, and here we would get the file name and also the duration. So this is when we are adding that to the database, and I will run the callback from here, because you will understand why, because I would need to run this inside another function. So since this is asynchronous, I will have to return the response from within this function. That is why I am using that callback. And then inside the upload video, so we can run the generate thumbnail script. So define a constant command equal to execc sync, and the reason why I am using execc sync is to make sure that it runs synchronously and not asynchronously, because if this thing runs asynchronously, then we also need to do a callback, and sometimes it would get unnecessarily complicated. So I don't want to make that. So that is why I will videos, and then we pass in the video file. So I would need the original file name because that is what we are saving here. So since we have that in the request.file.original name, we can pass that, and then as the destination I would need to pass it as assets images. We can make that folder. So this is a static file folder which I have not mentioned it yet, so but I will be doing that. And then after this completes, this command finishes, since it is a synchronous function, we can this will wait for the command to finish, and then we can call the video duration, get video duration function, and then we can pass the file name here, request.file.original name, and then in the callback we can provide the response to this function. Okay, so since response.json, and we can pass as status on, maybe, yeah. So what will happen is that we can upload the video, and it will run this command, generate an image in the assets images folder, and then it will call the get video duration function, and it will calculate the duration, and then it will add that to the database, and then returns the response here. So it's kind of a not a straightforward thing, and that's always the case with Node.js. So that's there. Now in the next session we can plug this to the front end, and we can upload a file from the front end and use that file, and let's see how it will work. That's all for now. So let me stop here, and see you in the next video, next part.